The Trump administration has placed at least a 10% tariff on all imports into the U.S. The tariffs vary from country to country, but as Clayton Baumgarth reports, the impacts are already being felt, as small businesses and rural farmers who rely on foreign goods are facing higher costs.
Being a small business owner in 2025 isn't easy. There's competition from larger operations on all fronts.
Amazon has this for $10 less than what I can sell it at. We run into that. I don't sell a whole lot of books anymore because Amazon always has them on sale. And their sale price is what I buy them at generally, you know, so I can't just mark everything down and be like, okay, well, I'll match Amazon.
Kilo runs a Christian merchandise store in Washington, Indiana. She and her husband bought it in 2019 and immediately had to contend with the pandemic. Not only will they continue competing with Amazon, but they're also about to contend with tariffs on some of their biggest sellers.
We'd like to think they're U.S. made, but they're printed in China. So with even our kids' Bibles, about $40 to $60, I'm imagining they're all going to go up. So it's going to make times harder.
Bibles and Bible holders are about to go up in price at her store. And while those increased prices may hurt sales, Kilo believes in the idea of bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. She recognizes the challenges that come with that.
I see the point of trying to get things to be U.S. made. I would love to have things U.S. made, but again, when we do U.S. made, it's not as affordable.
Next door to her, another business owner also contends with tariffs and the higher cost of doing business.
We manufacture a little bit. We've started recently, and they've already messaged me saying, hey, the price is going to be $3 or $4 more higher because of the tariffs.
Davies County, where Washington resides, voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump in the 2024 election. Davies County is tied with Franklin County for the highest percentage of voters in Indiana who voted for Trump at 81.5%. And according to Associated Press polling, the biggest issue on voters' minds was their wallets. 40% of voters said the economy was the most important problem facing the country. Now voters are watching as two of the largest economies in the world wrestle over tariffs, and the impact is hitting the most remote parts of Indiana.
We're just little old farmers out here in the middle of nowhere, Indiana, and it's a huge thing going on. You know, two of the biggest countries in the world and the most powerful people in the world are deciding these things for us.
Ludwig farms corn, soybeans, and wheat. And while he bought the seed and other inputs needed to do his job in the fall of last year, he worries about making those same purchases later this year.
All the supply that was there is going to be eliminated. We're going to be having to import new stuff, and so if the trade war doesn't get taken care of by that time, we're going to see a huge increase in price, I'm sure.
Ludwig says he has already seen price increases in some chemicals needed for planting season.
There are a lot of ag companies that are Chinese owned, so we're seeing some of those fertilizers and chemicals especially we're seeing take a pretty good hit.
The soybean market will affect Hoosier farmers most. China is the #1 importer of U.S. soybeans in the world. For weeks, there was a 145% tariff between China and the U.S. Now, for the next 90 days, they stand at 30% on Chinese goods and 10% on U.S. goods. The soybean industry will need to find new buyers for its goods fast or risk wasting tons of materials or selling at a loss.
Things like beans and corn are traded on global markets, so we could see demand for that go down and softening prices that will hurt farmers and agriculture in Indiana.
Other countries faced significant tariffs in early April, but the Trump administration also put those on a 90-day pause, leaving the possibility of more tariffs hanging over the heads of business owners. That uncertainty is causing fear for investors.
It's really creating a problem not only for economists, but really for all, especially in the business community. Business managers don't know how to plan for this. They don't know how to deal with it.
Lawsuits and the courts introduce other variables.
It's not clear that the president hasn't exceeded the authority of the administration to levy these, which means it's going to play out in the courts, and that adds uncertainty to what will happen and the timing of everything.
He further says that for tariffs to do what Trump intends, they need to stay in place long enough for stateside manufacturing to build up and become profitable for longer than he'll be in office.
It's going to take you 3 or 4 years to get a facility up and running, and then you need those profits from 10 or 15 years from now. There's no reason to be confident that these policies are in now are going to be in place that long into the future.
And while voters like Killow and Ludwig recognize how price increases brought on by Trump's tariffs will affect their businesses, they both have faith that the initial struggle will pay off in the end.
They keep saying short-term pain for long-term gain. I believe that. I think that we will eventually get there. It's definitely going to be painful in the, this crop year is, where we got high inputs and low sale prices. So it's going to be tough.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Clayton Baumgarth.
China and the U.S. said in a meeting in Geneva this week that they would further work to establish a mechanism to continue discussions about economic and trade relations.